You are standing in your driveway at 6 a.m. on a summer Tuesday. Your trash cans are overturned. Garbage is scattered across the pavement. Coffee grounds, chicken bones, plastic bags torn open and strewn. You count the mess. 45 minutes to clean before work. This is not the first time. This is the 8th time this month. Now, I want you to sit with this for a moment. This is not random. This is not bad luck. This is hunger, and it has a face, a masked one. I have spent 14 years studying how raccoons hunt your neighborhood. My father was a wildlife biologist before me. He taught me to read what they leave behind. Today, I am going to hand you the exact method I use to stop this. The method costs $2. It takes 8 minutes, and it works because I understand how a raccoon actually thinks. Here is what you will know by the time we are done. The 4-step setup that keeps your trash untouched all summer. 4 specific defenses, each one a tool raccoons cannot overcome. Stay with me though, because near the end, I will show you the one mistake that makes everything fail, even when you do everything right. It is the detail that changes how you protect your home for years. The raccoon in your driveway is not dumb. It is testing you. Its nose is 5 times sharper than yours. Smell is its first language. What I am about to show you speaks directly to that nose. The first defense is ammonia. Pure ammonia on newspaper strips. You soak the strips. You drape them across your trash can lid. The raccoon approaches at night. It smells the ammonia first. That smell tells its brain one thing: predator territory. Back away. Ammonia mimics the urine of larger animals, foxes, coyotes, threats. A raccoon does not need to touch your can to know it is unsafe. The scent stops it before its paws ever make contact. A bottle of ammonia costs $1 at any grocery store. A stack of newspaper you already own, soaked through, costs nothing. Apply it the evening before trash pickup, when raccoons are waking up to hunt. The ammonia evaporates fast in heat. That is the catch. Rain washes it away. Wind carries it off. Summer heat burns it out in hours. But you do not need it to last forever. You need it to last one night. This is where the second layer comes in, and it is the part that actually closes the door. With that ammonia soaking into the lid, you have maybe 4 hours before it begins to fade. Now comes the layer that actually closes the door. I need you to picture your trash can at dusk, the lid still wet with ammonia. You take a piece of plywood, cut to size, costs almost nothing at any hardware store, and lay it flat across the top. The board must overhang the rim on all sides, maybe 2 inches beyond where the lid ends. This overhang is critical, and I learned why the hard way in 2011. A raccoon's paw is not a hand, despite what people say. No thumb, no grip, just 5 fingers with claws and tremendous pull and pry strength. But plywood eliminates what the raccoon hunts for: an edge to grip, a lip to wedge into. A flat, flush surface defeats the mechanics of its own anatomy. Now the weight. I use rocks from my property, gathered before summer begins. 2 or 3 rocks, placed toward the center of the board, not the edges. That distributed weight, combined with the friction of plywood on the lid surface, exceeds what a raccoon can overcome. A large male raccoon weighs maybe 20 to 30 pounds. The board plus the rocks typically total 15 to 20 pounds, and that mass is spread evenly. The raccoon does not simply lift. It must lift and fight lateral friction simultaneously. Cardboard works too. Thicker corrugated pieces stacked and weighted the same way, though rain softens it by midsummer. Plywood lasts years. Cardboard is the temporary solution when you cannot source a board. I always place the barrier before nightfall because by 11 p.m., the hunting begins. The ammonia beneath the board now does double duty. The plywood traps the scent, reinforces the chemical seal. 2 layers, not one. The raccoon meets smell first, then physics. But here is where most people stop, and here is where they fail. This barrier protects the can only while it sits on your property, vulnerable through the dark hours. The real win comes when you move that can to the curb at the exact moment the raccoon cannot hunt for it. That moment, that timing, changes everything about how summer unfolds. And that is what we do next. With ammonia below and plywood above, you have sealed the can itself, but that solves only half the problem. The real trap is timing. You are standing in your driveway at 9 p.m., trash day tomorrow morning. Most people put their cans out the night before. I did too, for years, until I stopped. Here is what I learned. A raccoon's peak hunting window is 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., dead quiet. Between dusk and dawn, raccoons have what I call a foraging route. They move through a neighborhood in sequence, testing each can. A can sitting at your curb at midnight is a lit-up restaurant sign. It has been off-gassing food odor for 8, sometimes 12 hours. The smell intensifies overnight. Organic waste keeps releasing scent molecules in a sealed bin. A morning can smells far worse than an evening can. Now here is the behavioral part. A raccoon that finds your can at 1 a.m. will return to that exact spot the next night. Operant conditioning. One successful raid, and your driveway becomes part of their permanent route. They will be back. But if the can is not there when they arrive, something shifts in their mind. Raccoons hunt in sweeps, not in waits. They do not circle back at dawn hoping you have put breakfast out. So, here is what I do. I keep my cans in the garage until 6 a.m. on pickup day. My truck arrives at 8:30. 2 hours. That is the window. In that 2-hour window, the can is visible, but the raccoons that hunted your street at midnight are already denning up miles away. You have removed the overlap. The trash is available, but not during their active hours. No ammonia needed in that narrow gap. No plywood stress, just absence from the danger zone. Summer is when this matters most. Juveniles born in spring are now foraging with mothers, doubling the raccoon pressure in your neighborhood. A single can left out overnight in June or July becomes a marked address on their mental map. Most people never think about this timing piece. They see a raid and buy more bins, heavier locks, stronger covers. None of that works if the can sits in darkness during the hunting window. Now, 2 hours in the driveway solves the overnight problem completely. But it leaves a gap I want you to think about. What happens to your trash during the other 10 months? That is where the next layer steps in. With the timing trap in place, most people think they are done. But here is where the year-round setup decides everything. You have ammonia under the lid, plywood on top, trash at the curb 2 hours before pickup. Summer ends. October arrives. You relax. Trash goes back to the bin by the garage at night. One warm spell in November. A raccoon remembers that bin. It returns. It tries the lid. And here is the part I promised you at the start. A single successful night teaches a raccoon a 3-year habit. Raccoons do not forget a food source. They build roots around it. They teach their young where to hunt. So, the trick that saves summer means nothing if you break the pattern between seasons. This is why I keep my trash in a locked box year-round, not just June through August. I learned this in 2015 when I stopped at Thanksgiving thinking raccoons hibernated. They do not. They torpor. They slow down. But a warm spell wakes them. By January, 4 raccoons were visiting my property again. Now, remember the twist. The ammonia deterrent works brilliantly as a backup layer, but only if the physical barrier is primary. An ammonia soak alone? A motivated mother feeding kits will push through that smell every time. Her sense of smell is sharper than yours, but hunger is sharper still. The sealed compartment, garage, locked shed, purpose-built box with a latch that requires opposable thumbs. That is the door that actually closes. Ammonia is the second lock. Timing the curb placement is the third. But the box is the foundation. Look at what we have walked through. Ammonia exploits smell. Plywood defeats grip. Timing removes availability. And the sealed compartment removes access itself. 4 layers, each one closing a different door the raccoon might try. Now you are standing in your garage with a trash can inside a locked box on a November morning. No ammonia scent bleeding out. No lid to test. No memory from last week to chase. That is the feeling. The problem has become background noise, not your summer. Tell me in the comments, how many times did raccoons hit your trash before you caught on? I read every single comment, and I want to know what brought you to this video. Because once you see the year-round pattern, you cannot unsee it.